Welcome to Lincoln Dona, Director of Diaspora Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. So, big things coming up with the Diaspora Conference.
Yes, indeed. It will be held the 16th to the 20th of June. Actually, the 16th represents Diaspora Day. And we first celebrated this in 2004, the first conference, which was held in Kingston. So we have it every 2 years. The last conference was held in Kingston again in July of 2017.
And I imagine it's every 2 years because it will take quite a bit of preparation and planning and
my
the
entire
execution.
staff, and we also have partners from private sector, legacy partners, Jamaica National, Victoria Mutual, Grace Kennedy, and Ray and Neville. Also, we have other government entities such as Customs, PICA, Registrar General. So we have a planning committee that is representative of almost all the MDAs. And we also
That's
have
the ministries, departments, and agencies. That's for the non-government people.
Right. And we also have members of the Diaspora Advisory Board, which is a body which is an advisory one to the Minister of Foreign Affairs that also gives assistance and advice in the execution.
So let's just be clear that we're working with the same definition. When we say diaspora, in terms of planning and development, governance, who are we talking about?
We're talking about persons who live away from their home country. And in the case of Jamaica, you're talking about Jamaicans who live in Cayman, in the USA, UK, Canada, wherever you can find Jamaicans. As you know, wherever you go, a Jamaican is always, you'll find one in Alaska, you'll find one in Estonia, in fact, in Lithuania, wherever. In fact, for conference, we have persons who will come from the United Arab Emirates, where you have a lot of teachers.
That's a new hotspot for Caribbean people.
Indeed, there are lots of opportunities coming that side, especially remember some of our pilots migrated and engineers. So
exactly.
So you find that diaspora is a skilled one. And last conference we had 7 persons who came, and we have been in touch with them ever since.
Why is it important to do this? Are they in touch with their people anyway, and they've made a decision to live elsewhere, and they'll send their remittances? And why is it important to do it in a more
structured way?
Yeah.
Well, it's more than just remittances. The diaspora represents a wealth of skills, expertise that they have garnered, which can help us in our development. They're also important in terms of trade and investment. The diaspora represents a niche market for non-agricultural and agricultural goods, so they'll want their bun, their bread, their sheen, cocoa, you name it. We also value the diaspora because they represent a key market for tourism. They represent around 7% of total stopover visitors, which is not known, and we don't think we have captured all of them.
No.
Because sometimes, depending on what passport you come on, you're not necessarily captured as diaspora. So that's something that we'll have to think about by working with our partners. And the diaspora is also important just for them to be at the table of decision making. So now we are now drafting or redrafting our national diaspora policy. So we had about 4 stakeholder or consultation meetings in the UK, in Toronto, Miami, and New York for them to give their feedback as to what they want in it. And it's a partnership. So Jamaica can dictate to the diaspora. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Of course, you're saying a policy, so that's one mechanism of engaging.
Right.
Talk to us a bit more about some of the things that the ministry has been doing more holistically, because that's a crucial bit: the engagement, the exchange, the live interaction without the delays. But what does the whole menu look like?
Well, the first engagement, as persons would know when you're overseas, is your embassies and consulates who support hundreds, if not thousands of functions. I mean, anywhere between the spring and December, our representatives have gone to several functions. I myself, having been posted in New York and London, I can tell you, you don't have a free weekend. So and that is good because you actually give stature to the events, and it's also in terms of making connections. We also have outreach by other government entities. So you're talking Customs, Registrar General, Passport, Immigration, Citizenship Agency, Accountant, Administrator General to deal with matters of estate, National Land Agency. So we facilitate engagement In the same way, we also do that for private sector companies who have their town hall meetings. So when you're dealing with real estate or you just want to know what's happening in Jamaica, so Jane has an Outlook series, VM has their President's Tour, and Grace has a similar type event. And so we are the glue that really brings all the stakeholders together.
So the big thing, the conference next month.
Yes, a month away.
Just a month away. What are the objectives? I imagine it would have had a core objective to precipitate it, but each one, I'm sure, would have specific targets.
So this year's theme is Jamaica and the Diaspora, building pathways for sustainable development. And the diaspora, as I mentioned before, has been involved in our development, whether in health, education, citizen security. And so this conference will seek to engage the diaspora around those issues. So first, we're seeking endorsement of our revised national diaspora policy. We're also looking at some of the actions that came out of the last diaspora conference held in 2017. Thirdly, we want to look at some of the global trends that affect the diaspora in the locations where they reside. And fourthly, we want to commit to some actionable items so that we can report going forward. But it's also a mechanism for us to engage with various stakeholders. One key knowledge network, if you will, that came out of the diaspora conferences is the formation of task forces. These are loose associations or persons who have come together in their respective areas, health, education, security, and they liaise with the respective ministries on the ground and look at whatever their strategic business plans are. There is a coalescing of those objectives, and just for them to play a part, whether in terms of resources or just skill sets.
How are you going to measure? If it's, at the end of the day, what are you going to look at to say, yes, it went well, yes, we can tweak? How are you going to measure that? What are the indicators?
It's an ongoing process. The numbers is one way, and it's the quality of the engagement. So last time we looked at how many persons were attending conference for the first time. In fact, we had 93% of the attendees express satisfaction with the conference and just how it was administered. Also, you're looking at, as I said before, the actionable outcomes that come out of the conference, because there must be some substance. It's while you engage and there must be talk, but we must have in place some actionable items. One key one I need to mention is, as we're talking before we came on here, the young people. So the diaspora young leaders are one group that we have to engage, given the age group of the diaspora in general. And when you take a look at the UK, for instance, you're looking at least 5 generations. So the young people are fashioning their own segment of the conference program. And they'll be looking also at establishing a diaspora youth council, which will create an avenue for them to engage and for them to be also a part of the general discussion. So we are facilitating, and we'll be seeking to link them with the young leader organizations, or like a youth advisory council or the youth parliament. So that is one of the things I'm looking forward to this time around, that there will be increased partnerships. So that is another element, Jerry, that we have to look at in terms of measurement, the partnerships that are developed, because the diaspora will tell you cannot dictate to us. It must be symbiotic.
Yeah, because then it's not a partnership, really.
Precisely.
But as a whole, you feel, I don't know, ministry feel comfortable that we're moving in the right direction?
Yes. In fact, 2 years ago, we built or improved the capacity of the department that deals with diaspora affairs. Before, it has been through several iterations. We started out as a returning residence unit all the way in 1993,
right. And
eventually in 2017 we are now a standalone department, and so we hope in future that I'll have more staff, because it's only a small number, and the diaspora we estimate is 3 million, so we need to build capacity.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, congratulations on what you've been doing so far.
Thank you.
I'm sure that members of the diaspora will be listening now. We hear from them all the time and from
Right.
some of the most amazing places. And that you'll have yet another successful conference because we all will benefit.
Indeed, I'd like them to keep in touch by visiting the ministry's website, mfaft.gov.jm/conference, or the ministry's social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And you got a YouTube channel too.
Oh, that's PIOJ.
Oh, that's PIOJ.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to hear this there today.
Yeah.
If somebody is catching on a piece of it and haven't heard anything, go to the
Right.
PIOJ YouTube channel. And they'll be able to hear the full thing for themselves.
Indeed.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And that's Mr. Lincoln Downer, Director of Diaspora Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Very exciting things. Coming up next month is the Diaspora Conference, talking about diaspora and development on today's edition of Spotlight on Migration.
And Migration Spot.